So oftentimes when people think about learning games, they think about 3D first-person shooters as the sort of archetype of games. And when they think about an educational game coming out of that, they think about something where you just sort of graft some educational content into that game. So in this case here, there's the character who's asking how many volts he needs for his laser cannon to kill 3 times 6 opponents. And there are actually many educational games that look a lot like this, where you're simply answering questions to sort of be able to play the game. But this is not what we mean by games, or certainly by educational games in our perspective. So I think actually that comes from that perspective on what those games are, comes from what I call the legacy of Math Blaster. Math Blaster is probably the most successful educational game of all time, based on sales. And in Math Blaster, you can see here that there's these math problems in the sky, and you have to match the math problem that's at the top of the sky with the asteroid that's floating there, and it will explode. And there isn't really anything about math that connects explosions and math problem solving, but it's really, those could be they're simple addition and subtraction here, but those could be algebra problems, they could be chemistry problems, they could be history problems. It could be anything that you're matching like that. And in this case, this is, I think, typifies what we have called edutainment. And edutainment was typified by where the play is the reward for learning. You're learning something, and because you get to learn it, if you learn it successfully, you get to play something. It's also what others have referred to as chocolate-covered broccoli, where the broccoli is the math problems, the things that you want kids to do, and the chocolate is the thing that you think will get them to eat it. And so the idea is that you will sort of coat your broccoli, you'll coat those math problems with something sweet so that the kids will like them. And one of the things, one of the problems with this methodology is it's actually teaching kids that math isn't any fun. That in fact, that in order to make math fun, we're gonna have to give you this extra reward. And the other problem with this is that even though it might get kids to temporarily enjoy doing math problems because they're having some fun alongside of that, it doesn't really promote that enjoyment of math. And in fact, my colleague Scott Osterweil has said sometimes we get people who come to us and they say, I want to design a game where I make math fun. I want to design a game where I make biology fun. And we say that's not the place you should start. What we want to do is make a game where we show that biology is fun, that we show that mathematics is fun. And it's a really important distinction, because what we're doing is we're starting with a place of, okay, what are people who enjoy math? What do they really enjoy about it? And how do we amplify that and show that to people? Maybe it's about problem solving. Maybe biology is about puzzles. So how do we actually use that principle that people are finding in the biologists who love biology, mathematicians and students who love mathematics? How do we actually amplify that and put that in our games? And that's what we try to do in our game design.